I got to Quest a week early to get some practice flights and landings in before the competition. We don't get much airtime in Minnesota in the winter, so this was my first flight of the year. It was a rather short flight though. The weak link broke at the carabiner. I had some decent flights in the first week and a lot of landing practice on my U-2. One of the days before the competition was blown out at Quest, so some of us, including Jeff, Rich, and Tom from our team, went looking for dunes to soar on the eastern coast. Here's Jeff with an impressive launch at the first site we tried. And here's Tom at the second site we found, which had a much better slope to launch off of. And here's my attempt at the same site.
But you gotta be in tune too, I mean.
Go, go, go. That's looking good.
Yeah.
See, they are kites.
That's awesome. Back a little.
So this is Rich giving man towing a go. There's 3 people on the beach pulling the tow line. This is how he's getting as high as he is. Nobody was able to stay up. The wind was just not blowing strongly enough, but it was still fun to try. The first day of the competition went pretty well. 2 pilots made it to goal, but most of the rest of us landed in an ellipse behind where I landed.
Matt, could I get a radio check for Tom? Copy.
first day could not have started any better. Our team launched first, we all got dropped off in a stout thermal, and within minutes we were all together under an active cloud and went on glide shortly after. I landed in this seemingly empty cow pasture. However, shortly after this picture was taken, I heard a clank, and the entire herd streamed through the gate, and then started running straight for my glider. Once only feet away, they all turned around and went back through the gate and left. While on task 1 we launched first, today we launched last. A lot of people made goal this time, however the conditions started to deteriorate and things became very difficult by the time we launched. There's one guy that landed down there.
Oh no, yeah, they're good down there. He's back.
It's good for us.
I think that's Jeff and Rich below me. We did all get up together initially. After getting up, I go on a long glide to the northwest. I'm not really sure why. It was a mistake in retrospect. I should have gone north because the 90-degree crosswind ultimately resulted in me getting pinned against the swamp low, such that I couldn't take weak lift that drifted downwind. The glide cost me pretty much all my altitude, and I land shortly after having made only a few kilometers overall. Jeff also made very little progress, and Thor landed back at Quest. Rich was the smart one though, and stuck with Tom. They managed to make goal, but it took them an hour longer than most everyone else. So it was a difficult task for us, but I do think that had I not made some of the mistakes I did, I would have done quite a lot better.
Hayfield is like landing into a pillow.
Task 3 was 111 kilometers around the Green Swamp. This has never been done on a sport class glider before, and still has not been done on a sport class glider. Nobody made it, but a few got close. This was my favorite task of the competition. I was in the air for just over 4 hours, which was a new personal best, and I spent a lot of time at cloud base, which I had not previously gotten the chance to do very much. At some points I was getting above some clouds and flying between them. Unfortunately, I have very little footage of this flight. Task 4 was simply to fly to Leeward, which is a residential area with a landing field running down the middle. This was also the first day that I had made goal. 2/3 into the flight, I arrived at a cumulus that others were at base under. Unfortunately, the cloud was dying, they all left, and I was left struggling to get back up over this town called the Villages for what seemed like an eternity. This sea of patterned housing actually made me feel slightly nauseous. It was turbulent and I was able to maintain altitude, but I was not able to get much higher. Eventually I decided to go on a long, risky glide in search of something better. I get very low, but luck out and hook a screaming thermal that gave me all the altitude I needed to get to goal. Unfortunately, I wasn't paying attention to my instrument, and I just flew next to the goal and didn't actually tag the goal, so technically I didn't make it to goal, but I did land at goal. I came within 0.12 kilometers of the goal cylinder. Task 5 was essentially the same task as Task 4, and I did actually make it to goal this time. Touched the ending cylinder and everything. Unfortunately, I don't have any footage of the actual flight, but here's a clip hanging out at goal with Rich, Tom, and Greg.
I'm this far away from the bar, so I'm flying like this.
Yeah.
And my other harness, which I wish I could, if I could fit my bags in my cocoon, that's what I want to fly. I'd be able to. I start struggling after a while because I start trying to get comfortable in my harness.
Yeah.
And that's whenever I push myself out of the thermal every time. That's why when you guys were climbing up, it was like, I was just trying to get my harness better.
Yeah, my hang strap is just slightly too short.
Huh?
My hang strap is maybe this much too short.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, when I got the glider, I had a hang strap that was too long. My parachute was brushing the bar.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to get it, maybe this much more, just an inch or two.
Yeah.
But then I got 4 or 5 inches. So now it's a little bit too short.
Did you guys ever see Jeff during the flight?
Yeah, I thought I was fine with him for a while.
Oh, I didn't know where he was.
Did he land or something?
Huh?
Did he land or something?
I don't know. That's I thought he might have been with you guys before. Make it again?
About?
Jeff?
Who?
Jeff Parrott?
Yeah, I don't know.
I got to cloud base one time. The whole time I was on glide from 4,000.
Really?
Yeah.
I was up there a fair bit.
Yeah, you got cloud sucked, you said, right?
Oh God.
Oh.
There was one.
Yeah.
One in particular.
It
was a real
One
ripper.
of the worst was really pretty close to Groveland, between Groveland and the in that big stretch of field there.
Yeah.
And there, we hit one that, whoa, let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I heard John saying, I'm going south. Let's go, this cloud suck. I was working my way up there.
Task 6 was a small triangle on a cloudless day, and I think the hardest task of the competition. I lost most of my altitude right after tow. In fact, I announced I was probably going to go land at Quest for a relight. Fortunately, the lift thickened up a bit, and I was able to start fighting my way up. It took a full hour for most people to top out and leave the starting cylinder. Eventually, we did get away from Quest, however. I was a little bit hasty on the last glide, and I got low and eventually wound up having to land. At the end, I came in 10th, which was more or less what I expected, so I'm totally happy with that. It was a great competition, and I will definitely be coming back next year.